Namaskaram, welcome to PGurus channel. It is my honor and privilege to welcome Chilkur Rangarajan ji to our channel. He has graced our channel in the past. This time we are going to talk about two very important issues. Rangarajan ji, Namaskaram and welcome to PGurus channel.
Namaskaram. Namaskaram, sir.
Sir, it's been a while since we've had a hangout with you, and now there are two important things that are happening in and around temples and Hindu and the taking care of the temple complete infrastructure, not just the temple itself, but also the rights of the deity and so on and so forth. And you have been actively involved in this. So we are going to talk about both these issues, viewers. First, let us talk about the temple, how the temple's current security is being managed in a COVID world where you have very restricted access. Very few people are coming, and everybody is very careful about what happens. So there is a new set of conditions that temples are operating under now. First, let us take a look at what kind of changes Rangarajan ji had to make in the Chilkur Balaji temple, which is a very, very special temple for many people who especially are applying for universities and applications to different universities abroad as well as in India, and also jobs. And there's a big belief system that Chilkur Balaji, if you get his blessings, good things will happen. Rangarajan ji, can you kind of walk us through how temple archanas and other operations are going on now in this current extended COVID world?
Thank you, first of all, Sree Iyer garu. It's been a pleasure to be a part of this Hangouts. Today's topic is very, very important one because COVID has really made people confined to their homes a lot of times. As far as Chilkur Balaji temple goes, we closed the temple for devotees on March 19th, 2020. And we did not open even in June 8 when the government of India had relaxed the temples to be open for select group of people. We did not open till October 3rd last year. And when we opened also, there was a clear instructions given to the villagers and the devotees is there will be no pradakshinas there. Because pradakshina is a thing which difficulty is to maintain social distancing and to maintain all the protocols of COVID-19, which is difficult. So what we have started the temple, we perform rituals inside the temple, Garbhagriha, and the access to the devotees is not inside the Garbhagriha, near the deity. Muhadwaram only the darshan is going on. The devotees have their darshan and we are there separated by a distance of nearly 15 feet from the Mukhadwaram. That is how the devotees are having darshan. On 1st January, we had a crowd of 60,000 people. That is a post-police estimate. We managed, as you say, it is very difficult. We are not happy to have this without pradakshina, but we cannot help in this situation. Whereas the other temples, temples like, far away temples, the village temples, definitely the reduced footfall is there. The archaka goes in, performs the ritual. Because the devotees don't come, he does not have much time to spend in the temple. He comes back to his home. Similar things happen in rural temples. The incidents which we are talking right now, because it's a concern which is happening in Andhra Pradesh. So many temples have been vandalized. Nearly 140 or 150 incidents are being reported since last year and this year. So the problem here is temples which are on top of the hill. For example, Ramatirtham, the main temple is on the ground level, that is below the foothill, below the hill of the mountain. And the top of the mountain is the Rama's temple, which the archakas go once in a time in the morning. They perform the rituals, then they come back down. So the temple as such remains closed since after the archaka leaves the temple. So the miscreants are identifying such places to vandalize the ransack and demolish or disfigure the worshipable deities. See, as far as we are concerned, a deity we don't treat as a stone. A deity, once the prana pratishtha is done, is a living deity, living god. We call Rama. We don't call idol of Rama. We call Ramalavaru. We call Ramar Murti. Even Murti also we do not call. So that is the belief we have. The unfortunate situation here is the police are not able to identify who is doing all this. Each one is having his own way of theory. Like, somebody says a mentally retarded person went and hit it, or somebody had a problem with the god. The god did not answer his prayer. He went and put a boulder on the. No, such things never happened when we were, young people. We used to have the deity as the topmost thing in our life. A deity was worshipped as Pratyaksha Paramatma. And the deity we never used to approach only when we were in distress. A deity we don't go when we have examination results to come, or they to put the hall ticket in front of God. We never did that. We were a part of temple worship, is a part of our day-to-day activity. Most of the time, I would not say 100% of the people who do that. 10 to 20% of the people had their day-to-day activity around the temple worship. For example, if this is the Dhanurmasam time, every day people will go perform the Dhanurmasa Vratam, recite the Tirupave Pasuram, and come back home. Not only in the Brahmin community, in all other communities also this is the habit. All over the South India, if you say, for example. But now, because of this new generation, the perspective of worship of temple has a little bit changed, because they feel like, our upbringing has now to make them a part of the ecosystem. Like temple system worship is, we are born to reach the lotus feet of our Paramatma. That is the objective of a human being's birth. This is not only to get an IIT seat or a visa in the US, or that is the one of the things which happens. But this is a nice thing which we have started this discussion. The temple, whatever happens inside the temple, the community has got a full responsibility over the temple. For example, the village is there. Village has got some 500 people in the village, and the 500 people cannot go to the temple every day. But they definitely go once in a day or once in a week. They have bhajan sampradaya. Every Saturday they sit down for bhajan. This type of activity, community activities, were around the temple. That is a time to revive all that, to protect our temple system from such type of vandalism. And third important thing is, we should not discount the government now. The government has got a large responsibility, because when the government is saying we will take care of Hindu temples, it is not telling we will take care of churches. It is not we will take care of masjids. The government has got a double, more than 10 times responsibility of protecting the properties, protecting the infrastructure, protecting the deities in the temple. Everything the government is now responsible for. So that is why the question is now coming: why is the Andhra Pradesh government not able to identify the culprits? When simple thing is asked, like, why the CCTV cameras are not being installed in Zone? The government is saying that 1,000 cameras have been installed. We agree on that. But the most important is now, the last 1.5 years or more than that time, there is a lot of such incidents happening. This is a cause of concern. After the Antarvedi incident, there should have been a bigger vigil on all the small temples. That is what is my humble submission, Sree.
Now, It's a very good starting point for this, sir. And as far as the list of temples that have been vandalized is concerned, there is a list being prepared, very thoroughly being prepared. And Dr. Subramanian Swamy, I don't know if you saw his tweet. He has said that I'm preparing this and I'm going to be filing a PIL. So, in terms of the big picture, the PIL will be filed, and there will be pressure brought in to make sure that all the responsibilities from the law and order machinery, that they were being carried out right. But my humble look at this thing is, see, the government, the police cannot predict where the next problem is going to happen. But what they can predict is what you just touched upon in terms like the Ramatirtha temple, where you have at the top of the hill, there is Ramaru residing, and then the main activities in the base temple, then there is reduced activity. So these kinds of special situations, outlier situations, the government should be able to figure out, okay, here are the critical parts. Let us absolutely make sure that not one but two different ways of CCTV monitoring is possible, so that you can catch these things. It is not expensive. It is a one-time installation. These days they are very robust. They can catch everything that is going on. So it is more apathy. I mean, we have to make sure the temple has a temple administration officer. These people, what are they doing? I mean, these are government employees. At least in Tamil Nadu, it is like that. And another thing that happens these days is, if it happens one place, you'll have copycat crimes. It's called. Somebody else will copy the same thing, do it somewhere else. So these kinds of things are going to go on. So the grand narrative has to be prepared. This is how we are going to plan on solving this problem. You cannot just take the revenues coming from the undis and then say that we are using that and then not give back what you are taking. You brought upon another interesting thing. No church is being touched by the government. No mosque is being touched by the government. No Gurudwara also is being touched by the government. So why is it that the majority have to see? There is a double problem I see. One is that they cannot control how their temple finances are being used by the government. Second thing is, even after that, the government is not doing even the adequate protection. This is any government. I'm not singling out one particular state, because I guarantee you these things will repeat themselves in other places also. It is only a matter of, who wants to keep the pot boiling. We are not going to look at who did it, what is the motivation. That's all for the government to figure out, law and order to figure out. But as a bhakta, you brought upon an important point. Like, this is Margari Masam for, those of us who used to indulge in that. When I was young, every day, 5 o'clock in the morning, cold weather, you have to get up. You sometimes have to shower cold water, then, go to the temple, we used to actually do a complete bhajan around the temple. It was a 1.5 hours thing, sing, and there will be some people who will come and give donations. You pick up that stuff, and as you go towards the end of the thing, your hands are pretty heavy also. But it was a very great, noble gesture, because you use that money and that food that you prepared. There was a feast for Annadhanam used to be planned. A lot of things happened. But this is all something that I grew up with 35, 40 years ago. These days, I'm sure with the pace as being picked up, a lot of things have kind of fallen by the wayside. But somebody who's living in the city, they all have come from villages. I think what we want to tell, and this is my humble request to all our viewers, you may not be able to physically go there, but you may be able to donate a CCTV equipment. You may be able to go and install it. You may be able to tell people, here is your smartphone, this is how you look at it, and this is how your alert will come if something is disturbed, so you can act on it almost immediately. These kind of basic security setups, I think we need to encourage that, and we need to make sure that the coverage is 100%. These are handed down to us by our ancestors with the hope that we will take good care of them. And every time there is a desecration, it kind of hurts very, very deeply inside. So, Rangarajanji, you now the temple, the Chilkur temple is open in a limited way. How is it now?
Chilkur is since morning 6 a.m. the devotees start coming in. Dhanurmasam time till 14th of this month, it is available since 5 a.m. in the morning. Till 6 p.m. we are closing down the temple for devotees. Our rituals, evening rituals also, we have advanced by half an hour. So we complete by 6 p.m. and then the temple is closed for the devotees. And this is how it is going on. Even on January 1st, when the crowd was heavy also, we closed by 6 p.m. And the two questions which we discussed, the last when you were speaking. Number one is the concept of government administrating the setup, the temple setup. This is why we have been fighting. In fact, my father, Dr. M.V. Saundarajan, was involved in a endowment amendment of 2007, wherein when Y.S. Rajshekar Reddy was the Chief Minister of AP, the Dharmika Parishad concept was established. The Dharmik Parishad means it will consist of Pitadipatis, Matadipatis, retired judges, eminent devotees, philanthropists, and all that. 21 people together on a panel which will administer the entire temple system. It will not be the government, it will be the Dharmika Parishad. That has been the section 152 of the Endowment Act. Today, the complaint which is coming against the Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister is saying, people are saying he is a Christian Chief Minister. This type of comment will not come when the Dharmik Parishad is constituted. My father in Kartika Masam, when Y.S. Jagan as Chief Minister went to the Tirumala Tirupati, offering the silk Vatuvastram to the Lord, he said, immediately constitute the Dharmika Parishad. If you constitute the Dharmika Parishad, you will be insulated from this type of accusations. See, today we are not in a position to understand who is doing this kind of vandalism, because there are few videos circulating in the social media platform. One of the videos says, I have with my own leg kicked a lot of idols. I have with my own hands beaten and broken a lot of idols. One pastor is claiming. So this type of fringe elements are there. Even in the Abrahamic religion, people are claiming they have done all that. False gods, we want to break their deities and all. So that kind of first immediate request through you, because we are always PGurus has resulted in a constructive type of result oriented discussions. So Dharmika Parishad is an mandatory constitution to be done by Telangana government and also Andhra Pradesh government. That will, what will it do? It will have the religious leaders at the top of the administrative body. Then the government employees were presently feeling they are unaccountable. They are not at all accountable for this type of activities. This Ratham which was burnt in Antarvedi, the EO was just suspended and now he is back in action in some other temple. So there is no accountability. Dharmik Parishad, if it is there, it will be able to clearly punish even if there is dereliction of duty. Number three, most important is we the security establishment like CCTV camera, it is mandatory to be installed. Most important is at least for the next 4 or 5 months, we request all the temple goers in the entire state of Andhra and Telangana to be vigilant to see that such kind of incidents don't repeat. If you are suspicious about some elements coming in and having, see, they will definitely look at an isolated temple and try to do such things. The villagers, the community members should be having a maximum number of footfall in the village temples and try to protect the temple system. And the most important I would like to request through you is the present concept of Article 26, which is the deity rights.
Yes.
See what is happening. What is happening? If the deity is disfigured or stone damage of the idol, what type of punishment is the Indian Penal Code giving? Very nominal. He is just arrested, and then if he is proven guilty, he is punished, or if he is not proven guilty, left out. If the deity is considered as a living being, as far as me I am concerned, is a deity is a monarch for me. you can file an article, the IPC 302, if you behead the Rama's idol. Because in Pakistan, blasphemy is IPC 298, their Pakistan Penal Code. It is death by hanging. That is the punishment which is given for that kind of activity. Why I am telling is, we have been 1950 to 2020, 70 years. We have seen how our constitutional rights as Hindus have deteriorated. Our temples have been looted. Our temples, administration has gone away from the community into the hands of secular government. This is the 2018, the judgment of Shabarimala was the last nail in our coffin. That is the last lane. When the deity has no rights, that's what they said. So when we approach, last hangout we talked about only the deity rights.
Yes.
Today, we are standing before the President of India. Already 4 MPs have written to the President of India to treat it as a dispute under 363, Article 363, wherein the representative of all the deities is Padmanabha Swami, and for his rights, Chilkur Balaji is fighting. Chilkur Balaji has written to the President of India asking for settling the dispute, because when the merger of Padmanabha kingdom happened, the deity was having full rights. 1750, the deity was given the kingdom, he was donated. 1950, when the deity gave the constitutional protection, he was having the kingdom. Today, the deity has nothing. The deity says no rights for the deity. So this dispute is there. If the deity has given his kingdom, you are saying you have nothing to prove, no rights to you. The President of India has to look at that, Article 363 dispute. It is with the hands of the President. Supreme Court has no business to enter into the dispute. So Supreme Court entered and said it can, deity does not have any rights. This is why I am telling is, such kind of incidents which are happening in Orissa also it is happening. For example, in Delhi, Chandni Chowk, if you remember 3 days back, the Delhi Municipal Corporation demolished Hanuman temple. Whereas the other religious structures were not demolished. They were not even touched. So the Hindus in this country are feeling we do not have any, no constitutional rights are available for us. So this is a question which the union government also has to answer. Because if you see, the union government is so, law and order is a state subject. The Andhra Pradesh government has to answer the law and order. But endowments is a concurrent list. The state government is responsible to protect the temple system. The union government also is equally responsible to protect the temple system. It is on the concurrent list. So both of them have to take care of this protection of the temple system, the protection of the freedom of worship for our Hindus. Actually, that is only available by granting back the Article 26 rights to the deities and the devotees. This is what I want to mention again.
I could not agree with you more, sir. And if you look at it, from 1950 to 2020, all the rights of Hindus have just been diluted. Part of this also is the lack of comprehension. I mean, in the initial Supreme Court benches, you had judges who were also dharmically very qualified. I mean, academic qualifications is one side, but you have to also, so the Supreme Court, first of all, should not be taking up religious matters, because they would not try to do this to a Episcopal church or a Roman Catholic church or a Protestant church and say you should change your ways. They wouldn't do it. They wouldn't touch a Gurudwara. They wouldn't touch a mosque. That's all great. Then why is it that Hindus have to suffer this indignity, especially like what you said in Chandni Chowk, that the Hanuman Mandir had to be, they got demolished. And this is not just one. We have also had instances even in Andhra Pradesh a few years ago in a previous government where 50 to 100 temples were demolished to make way for
Krishna
road.
Pushkaram.
Yes.
Krishna Pushkaram also.
Yes.
Krishna
yes.
Pushkaram. Yes.
Krishna Pushkaram. So, so these are all, Deva Kutra. It's called Deva Kutra. And this is when persons knowingly do these kinds of things, this karma will affect them. It is just in Kali Yuga, in fact, it happens in in this current Janma itself. I can tell you that. So,
Daivam.
so
Arasan andru kolvan, Daivam nindru kollum.
yes,
That is the
yes,
saying.
right,
The
right,
king has to punish immediately. That is what is not happening now
right,
because of
right.
confusion on the penal rights, actually.
Right. So the takeaway is for anybody now, please get involved in your village temple activities. You may not be physically present there, but you can certainly help. Look at these things, how to organize a little bit better surveillance of the things, how to make sure that the CCTV works correctly, how to make sure that battery backup is available. Simple things. These don't cost a lot of money. At the same time, if everybody starts getting involved in it, even the people who are back in the villages, they will also feel enthusiastic. Oh, my son is sitting in Australia, but he wants to know if puja got performed today. Or better still, he has a CCTV camera there, he is watching it from there. So these kinds of things, we do it today. There are, people go to watch, puja being performed in various temples from from the comfort of their home, citing COVID. So that's fine. When bhakti is there, bhakti is inside you. Kadavul, God is inside you. So that is a good thing. But it is just as important to make sure that our ancient culture, our heritage is maintained, preserved, and thrive. Rangarajan Ji.
One minute.
Yeah, please go ahead. Please go ahead. Yeah.
1 minute before we conclude. See, last year, if you remember, there was a judgment given by the Madras High Court on the Prince of Arcot, the title of Prince of Arcot. The title of Prince of Arcot was given by the Britishers in the later part of the 18th century, which the 26th Amendment of the Constitution actually removed all the titles of the ruler and all that. But the Union government, the Additional Solicitor General and the senior councils all the way from Delhi came and protected the right of Prince of Arcot, whereas the Union government is not able to protect the right of the deity. This is what we wanted to give a contrast, where this contrast needs to be given to the existing establishment of Sri Narendra Modi ji, because last 2019, when he stood for election, he promised in the Padmanabha Swami's kingdom in Thiruvananthapuram that he will settle the matter related to Shabarimala by a proper affidavit in the Supreme Court and also help in the rights of the deity. That was the wordings which were given a slight bit differently, but this need to be done. And we will be happy to have such a kind of a notification being issued by the present government. If it happens, it will be a great contribution by our discussion. Thank you, Sree.
Thank you so much, Rangarajan ji. And viewers, if you don't know, see, Rangarajan is an engineer by profession, and at some point in time, he decided that his calling, what his father, grandfather, his lineage has been doing, of doing what he considered as his dharma. He gave up all that and he has been actively involved in this. And he's, you look at the breadth of knowledge that he has. He looks at the legal aspects of something. He looks at the dharmic aspects and Agama. I don't know. I don't even know I don't know enough to ask him questions about Agamas and other things. Suffice to say that here is a jewel that needs to be consulted. Please, the government should take a look at all our suggestions and let us try and build a harmonious society that is good for all of us, not just one or the other. Thank you very much, Rangarajan ji, and we'll be back again more very soon. Hopefully these things will get resolved, but it is important that we need to keep talking. Once again, on the 26, Article 26 that you mentioned, I hope the President acts on it, and we will come back and talk about it in a few weeks' time. Hopefully there is some movement, because I can see the momentum building up, and I'm hoping and I'm hopeful that, because like you said, 2 MPs have written, and I'm sure when more MPs watch this video, they might be intrigued. What is it that they are saying? Why is it that we should support? It is important. These are important causes. Whatever be the past, just look at what can be done moving forward. Once again, namaskaram and thank you very much, sir.
Namaskaram, Sree. Thank you.